Everyone, Alpha Eagle here again. Welcome back to my channel. I pray you're all doing well, and may God bless you all. Before we begin, be sure to like, share, comment, and subscribe. Anyone who knows me knows that I am a big He-Man fan. I still have some of my vintage He-Man action figures. I collect the current Masterverse toy line. My current computer wallpaper is He-Man artwork. On my wall, I have a He-Man live-action movie poster painted by Earl Norem. Also hanging on my wall is a He-Man t-shirt that I wore as a kid. I have the Motu Classics Castle Grayskull on my shelf. And I have a complete Filmation series as well as the complete MYP series on DVD. And I can go on and on of my love of Masters of the Universe. And part of being a big fan is admitting when something that is a part of a property that you love is bad. Now, for example, I'm going to quickly go through all the He-Man TV series and movies and tell you which ones are amazing and which ones are horrible. The original Filmation series is excellent, 10 out of the 10. Now, like all series, every episode is not a banger, but overall it's great. Secret of the Sword, the animated movie, also excellent, probably the best He-Man movie, 10 out of 10. The first She-Ra series, good but not great, 9 out of 10. It's made for girls, but anyone can enjoy it. The first live-action movie, not good, but it's a guilty pleasure, 6 out of 10. New Adventures, bad but not the worst, 5 out of 10. 2000X MYP animated series, excellent, expands on the lore, 9.5 out of 10. Netflix She-Ra, probably the worst thing ever associated with He-Man, gay as hell, 0 out of 10. Kevin Smith's Revelations and Revolution, woke garbage. Trash. Nice visuals, though. 2 out of 10. CGI animated He-Man. Surprisingly not bad. 4 out of 10. Better than Revelation and Revolution. See, I can be honest about a property that I love and not glaze everything that's He-Man, unlike some fans. The people who love a property who can't admit when something is bad is strange to me. There's something wrong with those people, in my opinion. So when reviewing and breaking down these trailers, you can trust that even though I'm a fan, you're going to get my unfiltered, honest opinion. Now, I've already discussed the woke casting in this movie in my previous video, so you can check that out here. Anyway, let's begin with this teaser trailer.
Not long ago, when times were simpler, this was a healthy breakfast. This was a powerful workout. And this was a hero.
It starts off with images of things from the 80s, and my sister pointed out to me that cereal is Trix's cereal. And of course we see Filmation He-Man, and the voiceover says that he's a hero.
Perhaps now more than ever, we need that kind of hero again.
And then we see Adam, the Power Sword, and a line that says, perhaps now, more than ever, we need that kind of hero again. I love this line. It kind of reminds me of the line from the original Avengers movie.
While you were unconscious, we made some modifications to the uniform, but...
The uniform? Aren't the stars and stripes a little... old-fashioned?
the things that are about to come to light, people might just need a little old-fashioned.
It suggests that we return to a more traditional, optimistic hero, unlike the nihilistic heroes we've been getting lately, like the new Supergirl trailer.
What Superman like?
He sees the good in everyone, and I see the truth.
Can we get a traditional, masculine, optimistic hero in modern movies these days? We shall see. And then we see what is probably the main heroes of the movie. Now from left to right is Roboto, who is unfortunately gender swapped, since Kristen Wiig is playing him, which is unfortunate since he looks kinda cool. Next is Idris Elba as a race-swapped man-at-arms. Now, Idris Elba is a fine actor. I just can't understand why they can't hire a white actor to be accurate to the source material. I can't wait to get past this woke era of Hollywood, if that'll ever happen. And next is Prince Adam himself, played by Nicholas Galatazine. And he looks okay, at least he's the correct race. Next is Latina Tila, Camila Mendez. And frankly, I've seen Tila cosplays who've looked better. But at least she has the red hair. And lastly, we see Cringer, or is he in the Battle Cat form now? And will he talk? And we'll have to wait and see, but at least he looks good. But the big question is, who don't we see? Where's Orko? Now, I know Orko is a character who divides fans, but it wouldn't be the same without him. I mean, a big complaint about the first live-action movie is instead of giving us Orko, they gave us Gwildor. Now, I like Gwildor, but he's no Orko. Then we get a quick image of a battle at Castle Grayskull, and we see what I think is a Roton and a Fright Fighter. Again, they look good, but why is Castle Grayskull so close to the palace? Then we get a plainclothes man-at-arms, but look at his hair. Looks to be red like Tila's hair. Are they suggesting that they are related this time instead of Duncan adopting Tila? Besides, red hair looks weird on a black man. We end on a shot with Adam with the power sword and the logo comes up. Now I like the sword and the logo. Now, on to the longer teaser trailer.
That only exists in legends and bedtime stories. Talking tigers, spaceships, and magic swords that can make a man as mighty as a god. Where I come from, that stuff is real.
First, we see Zoar the Falcon, which is the sorceress's animal form. Then Castle Grayskull, and a ship that looks like either the Talon Fighter or the Wind Raider, and a young Prince Adam. And a line from Adam saying that talking tigers and spaceships are real. Now, this line reminds me of a line from Thor in which he explains to Jane Foster that the Norse legends are real.
Yeah, look. Your ancestors called it magic, and you call it science. Well, I come from a place where they're one and the same thing.
I asked earlier if Cringer will talk, and according to this line, he will.
Why did you send me away?
I wanted you to be safe. So I sent you to a place I knew that they'd never find you.
Then we see a battle, and Queen Marlena is sending Adam to Earth. Now this makes sense because Marlena is from Earth. But it looks like she has blonde hair instead of red hair. And we see some of the palace guards, but again, who's missing? We don't see King Randor in this trailer. That's very disappointing. Unfortunately, in modern movies, a father figure is often missing, and they focus on instead on the mother, and I really hope they don't kill off King Randor in this movie.
This obsession with nerd stuff and sword things, it's not a good look for human resources.
And we see that Adam works in HR, and that's the most useless job in the world, and it should be gotten rid of. Anyway, and we see that his nameplate says Adam Glenn. Now, Glenn is his mother's maiden name, again focusing on the mother, but perhaps he was adopted by one of her family members. And the worst thing in the trailer that we see his pronouns. Now, hopefully...
Sorry, did you want to get immersed in our world? Yeah, well, guess what? Fucking pronouns!
Hopefully this is just a joke, and it's just a play on the name He-Man.
I know it sounds crazy, but that sword is gonna show me the way home.
Sir, you can't do that.
Don't worry, the sword's mine.
Now we see Adam at what looks like a vintage toy store, and the statue seems to be Vicor, which is a He-Man prototype. And behind the clerk is a Big Jim van, which is a Mattel action figure line from the 70s. Now the makers of He-Man reused the tiger from this line to make Battle Cat and Panther. We get a little bit of humor with Adam claiming that the sword is his, which it is. Now this bit of humor is not great. Now, He-Man should be fun and half humor, but there's a fine line between fun and goofy. Now let's hope this movie isn't goofy, unlike last year's Superman, which I hated.
Hang on, it's about to get weird.
What am I supposed to do? Take the sword.
Then we get a quick glimpse of the sorceress, and Tila and Adam return to Eternia, and Adam laughs. And I noticed that it's very similar to his laugh from the Filmation animation. Now, who knows if this was intentional or not. And we get a look at a larger group with Fisto on the right, and a few others, perhaps Mechanic and Ram Man. Then we get a shot of what I think is Skeletor's ship, the Collector. And finally, Skeletor himself, and he looks okay, but he could look better. Frankly, the CGI looks kind of bad. Skeletor's face seems to be 100% CGI. I think it would have been better if it was a mix of CGI and practical effects, like Hugo Weaving's Red Skull. I might even go so far as to say that Frank Langella's makeup looked better. But perhaps the CGI isn't finished yet. Then we see Spikor and a glimpse at Goatman. They both look good, and then we see Fisto again, and he looks good in action.
Protect them.
And as Adam raises the sword aloft, we can see Trapjaw, and he looks good. And Beastman looks good. And notice that Adam hugs his mother, but we don't see Randor again. Now, this is concerning. Then we see Evil Lyn fighting Tila, and she looks good. And it could be just the lighting, but it looks like she's a little yellow, just like the vintage action figure. And here we see Cringer again, and the reason why I ask if he's Cringer or Battle Cat is because look how fierce he looks here. Cringer is not fierce, he's a coward. So will we even see Cringer being a coward or not? If not, that would be disappointing. Then Man-at-Arms attacks the Collector by himself. And this reminds me of that scene in the Disney Star Wars when Rey attacks the TIE Fighter. Now, let's hope Man-at-Arms is not a Mary Sue like her. Then we see the transformation, which looks awesome. But like I said, it's right in front of Trapjaw, so it seems like they're not going with the whole secret identity thing. So that's a bit disappointing, but understandable. He-Man has a cross on his harness instead of the H, and I love that they went back to the original logo. And he fights some skeleton warriors. No, not those skeleton warriors. These skeleton warriors. And it looks great. Then we see Skeletor and Goatman again, and Skeletor and He-Man fight, and it looks cool. But we don't hear Skeletor say anything, so let's hope Jared Leto does a good job. Now, I've said that things look good a lot in this review, but looking good and actually being good are two different things. Let's hope it's good. But I have a ton of concerns. Mostly the lack of King Randor and Orko, who are two key characters. Of course, I hate all the woke stuff like the race and gender swaps and the pronouns. One of the biggest criticisms of the first live-action movie is that it took place mostly on Earth. Now let's hope this movie doesn't do that as well. Also, Adam didn't transform into He-Man until the end of the trailer. Now, that's one of my biggest concerns, that he's not He-Man until the very end of the movie. That would suck. Or that he is a side character in his own movie, much like he was in Revelations or Revolution, or last year's Superman, which I hated. Anyway, that's about it for this video. I'm Alpha Eagle. Be sure to give this video a thumbs up, comment, share, and subscribe. God bless you for watching. God bless America. And I pray this movie isn't woke garbage like the recent He-Man shows.